Go here. I'll just boom. Okay. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Terror Prime Live. Darth Anonymous coming to you from Terror Prime headquarters. Today, we got a special show. We have a guest on we've been hoping to get on for quite some time. Please help me welcome Gary Ripper. How's it going, Gary?
How you guys doing?
Hey, Gary.
Hey.
Yes. And also we've got Darth Alice, our resident sabersmith master, and Ben Judkins from the council and the board and all of these great institutions. Anyway.
Honored to be among this group.
Yes. Well, it's an honor to have you on the show. So if you do not know out there, and I know there's a lot of new people to the hobby, to the whatever we want to call it, the sport. You don't know who Gary Ripper is. Gary makes more, I would say, realistic blades. We used to call them Dark Saber blades. Now we call them all kinds of different things, but they're made out of acrylic and they are like this. So very, very similar to the Dark Saber blade in the Clone Wars. And that's kind of where is that where you started kind of going with?
Yeah, initially that's why I was going with, I had the shape kind of wrong too, because I was going off of the wrong reference photos, and then the community helped me with that. Yeah, over time, I started doing different blades just out of requests, and then build my skill from there.
Yeah. Well, why don't you take us through a couple, like what is one of your blades? What is a Ripper blade?
A Ripper blade basically is a flat acrylic blade, usually about 3/8 of an inch thick. They can go different sizes. A Ripper blade is something I decided I wanted to have an electronic kind of blade that would be outside of the Star Wars realm. I used to like to look at a lot of Gundam. I used to look at a lot of other things that had like different kind of lightsabers. And I worked at an acrylic company for a while, at the time, about 3 or 4 years. And I just came up with an idea of putting a blade profile piece of acrylic inside my hilt. I used to always have a hilt at work. I used to carry it on my hip. They used to make fun of me at first until they became geeks themselves. And I think one of them got their own hilt from Ultra Sabers. But yeah, I made that and it worked. And I tried different designs and etching and scratching on it. I used to use sandpaper and a X-Acto knife in the beginning. And I was really nervous to use a Dremel. And I just jumped off the cliff and started using the Dremel. And I started getting request after request. And then that just made me, I just kept saying, I can do it. Oh yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah, I can do that. And I just slowly tumbled into making them.
That's awesome. Yes. And we also have, of course, here with us is Todd Johnson, Darth Alice, who, of course, made this guy right here, the Light Dow. And there is no better blade to put in your Darth Alice saber than a Ripper blade. Let's just say that, right? Because as you see, you get, yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. So do you have a light on that one, or is that just still a hilt?
No, this one's fully installed.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to get you a new katana, because that katana is one of my earliest katanas. That katana needs to be in the museum.
Yeah, I've got this one and then one a couple years newer than this floating around here somewhere.
Yeah. I do one just because you can even have progression. I mean, it's very much worth it, because I was just showing you guys earlier. Where's this katana? My katanas are a lot different now in comparison. Even where I put my lightning is closer to what he just had. I was showing you with how Moan is out on them now. So
yeah, that's that right there is pretty cool.
And we have every size. We make katanas, wakasashis, tantos.
Oh, how about Odachi?
Oh yeah, we try. sizes, it's kind of like hard, but we do have the largest one we got is I think a 35 or 38 inch. We have 38 inch. Yeah, 38 inches is probably the largest we have.
I've been considering building another Afro Samurai katana.
Yeah, I need to actually I wanted to make a actual blade for that hilt. I mean, the chips in it, and I have a different idea of how to do, and maybe make a Neopixel. That would be a pretty cool idea. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love swords.
It just came to my mind to do chips in one of these electronic blades. You should cut them out like pixels, like little square.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
I have them up here anymore.
Uh-oh.
But there is
you see, throw it out into the universe. It might already exist.
And then we're showing.
Oh, well, she's done
He's screwing around, looking around, man.
I was trying to find it earlier. I don't know where it's at. She designed a circuit board on the blade. Very nice. I love it.
Yeah.
She's gonna be designing a Suba for it too soon. So yeah, she's really done a lot. She's got into the blade making herself. And
there's the blade with that Suba, right? The one right behind you.
Yeah, this is the one with the Suba. I have
now that's pixel. That's pixel blade, right?
No, not this one. This is not a pixel blade. The pixel blade is in another room. I do have a reverse katana. Let me see if I can get that real fast.
Quick, Todd. Bring it up.
This is a slim coat of V6 or 6.5. It's done in burnt bronze Cerakote ceramic paint, heat baked with an aged finish to it. And really, it's got a nice metallic sheen, and it's all set up for Suka Ito. I think it's getting black and white leather put onto it, but this one, I think I'm going to offer this one up as an empty. It ended up being a spare when it was said and done.
That's
cool.
We'll take a nice katana, or even what we call a wakizashi.
Well, this one's a shelf queen too. It's set up where you can put the full reveal on the inside of it with the crystal chamber. Because Goth 3 Designs, Rick DeRio, he came up with a new chassis system for me on these oval pipes. And you can get all kinds of exotic metals, and you can stack them with all kinds of pixel LEDs. I mean, it's cool. So this one's all designed for that.
One of my bucket lists is to become a shop.
Yeah, I will.
A shop.
Yeah, I will make a comment here, and then maybe Ben, you can chime in, because we here at TPLA, we're always talking about how we're kind of like reaching back, we're kind of recreating things that have kind of been done before, taking these old arts and making them new again, all that kind of thing. And we've seen this evolution in the saber making community as well. And I think right here with Todd and Gary here, it represents a pretty big step forward, because in history, when you wanted a sword, when swords were made, a blacksmith or whatever would usually just do the blade, right? And you would send it to a cutler to have the fittings then attached and all that kind of thing. And we're very, very close here to that type of scenario.
Wait. Look at how many craftsmen are involved in creating a professional katana. I'm talking $100,000 sword. You're talking, you've got the original smith, who the original guys that collect all the iron and create the makume for it.
Yeah.
You've got the saber smith, and then you have the polishers, the guy that spends at least 10 years as an apprentice just to how to polish the darn thing. And then it goes to a whole other master to build the suka, the center core of it, and to wrap it. And oh my God, there's so many different hands involved in it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Chad, I jumped in.
Oh no, it's a good point, because what my point was that, these things, like, yes, these are toys. Yes, these are fake. Yes, we're playing. Yes, it's from Star Wars. It's not anything like that. But if you notice, this is following the same path that historical arts, that is, historical weapon making and everything has gone. And I've said this many, many times. A lightsaber is technically more relevant to the modern world than a sword. I can carry my lightsaber pretty much anywhere, and people just go, "Ooh, look, a lightsaber!" Right?
Right.
If I carry my sword out, I'm probably going to get the cops called on me.
Sure.
Yeah, I've had people get the cops called on them with a lightsaber too before, actually.
Yes, this is true. This is true. I've gotten into because they thought it was a gun, but anyway.
I've had a park, and the police were called on us because they thought they were real. Someone thought we were fighting in a park with real lightsabers, and then cops have to come because they have to. My son was probably about like years old, and the cop was like amazed too, because I guess if you've never seen a lightsaber before, really, and you see two people in a park, and you're looking at it, you're like, what am I looking at here? I'm guessing, and the cop car, he kind of was like walking like, you're trying to look with your eyes because you can't see well, like you're trying to read. He was walking towards with his eyes squinted, like, what am I looking at? Are those lasers? And he asked me, I said, no, they're plastic.
Yeah.
Did you hear hitting plastic?
Yeah.
He just thought that he got a kick out of it, and he wanted one.
Yeah, of course. Yes, that's the beauty of the lightsaber. So Ben, that's a pretty salient point, I think, that we often talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about it now. I mean, there's so much we could do with this, because I also am a big believer in practicing in public parks, and I find that I talk to many fewer police officers with my lightsabers than even with like nylon weapons.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got, the guy who specializes in, the chassis design. I mean, let alone the people who are developing your electronics, right? But, you've got your chassis guy, you've got your sabersmith who builds the hilt. Often there's like, the etcher that you work with, who just specializes in etching or just, wrapping. And then we have specialized bladesmiths at this point. Yeah, it is amazing to me the degree to which, people kind of desire and hunger for that. They don't want it to be real. The fantasy is what's beautiful about this, but you want it to have a sense of, authenticness.
Yes, authenticity.
And that's what we have captured now.
Yes, and that's the thing. What you say, like, even like a real sword for a lot of people is problematic, right? These weapons have been used throughout history to do terrible things to people. And, some people just can't step back from that. The lightsaber is a perfect way to do that, right? Because you can take that kind of, feeling, that idea. And that's what we do with the martial arts. And that's why do we practice these martial arts the way they do? Why are we making these forms and all that kind of stuff? Why don't we just give you drills of doing this and doing that? Because that's boring. Who wants to do that? Right? We like to dress up. We like to, have fun. And if you're doing martial arts and you say you don't like to dress up, call them BS on that. Right?
What? Gi. Then,
yes, your gi, your uniform. Yeah, even your little swim trunks for MMA. It's all a costume.
Yeah,
I've got I got 2 full sets of silkies for Tai Chi. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So all of this stuff, it goes into your practice, right? Because if you like to do what you're doing, you're going to do it more often. And so if you can bring this stuff into practice, right, into what you're doing, because yes, Gene Shing was on with the last year with the symposium, and he said this is that so many people get into this because they're looking for fun and excitement and kind of imagine everything like that, and so much about martial arts is not about that. It's hard work, it's boring, it's terrible, it wears you down, so having these things, your accoutrements, which allow you to go to a different time and place, or where you don't have to be just a normal guy suffering out in a gym. You can be a Jedi, right? Whatever. It's important, right? It may not have whatever. And for all of the detractors of traditional martial arts and sports like fencing and kung fu and all, whatever you do, who have been decrying this for a long time, well, come back and talk to us, because I know you're probably interested in it now. And it can help.
Anything that feeds the imagination just keeps it, keeps it going. And it is amazing how much a really good hilt, how much difference that makes, how much difference it makes to have really good practice weapons or things that you're really excited about getting out and using. And yeah, that's when you do it. That's when you actually pick it up, go outside and practice,
And if you're into real martial arts, and you get a Ripper blade to practice with, do your solo forms and stuff like that, and you now feel like you're swinging a real sword. It's got an edge, it's got balance, it's got everything that you are used to feeling, right? If the glowing blade isn't enough for you. Anyway, I'm sorry, Gary. What you were saying?
I was going to say, that's one of the reasons why. Another reason why I made Ripper Blades too is because a lot of people spend their time and money on their personal hilt, and sometimes you have it, like you said, Chef Queen. You want to at least have it presented with a blade that will make you just as happy as the hilt. I'm thinking, like you have this beautiful hilt, especially you have a Darth Alice. I'm like, he's a good example. Todd's stuff is like something that a lot of people, it's like a holy grail. It's like there are Rolls Royces that are Rolls Royces of Rolls Royces, and Todd is that. It's like, if anybody I know has a Darth Alice saber, no matter what genre it is, people have this like, oh wow, you have one of those. It's like, and so to have that kind of possession and that put a polycarbonate tube in it is almost a crime in sometimes. And so to have something, I don't care if it's a small spearhead, if it's anything else, as long as it's something else that can like illuminate along with this museum piece hilt. I admire Todd's work so much to the point where I still to this day feel like I have to improve my blade work to be worthy enough to be in there so that they can match correctly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's one of the main reasons why I make a Ripper blade too, because of people, and mainly the katana I started making because of Todd Johnson, and because there is a katana hilt out there that people love, and I'm like, I gotta make a blade for this thing, and so that was one of my first inspirations, to be honest with you, to even attempt a katana. So
and I mean, I don't know how much actual effect it had, but the whole visions thing, we had Todd over for a discussion a little bit on visions. Todd, have you watched the rest of the episodes?
Yeah, a couple times over now, actually.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so we can now speak about it.
Phone taking close-up pictures, going, oh, that's a neat detail.
Yeah, see, I was watching Visions, and I'm going, oh man, Gary Ripper and Todd Johnson are going to be in some business right now.
Oh man, the Dark Saber 2 is going to come back in December.
Yeah.
Well, when the Mandalorian comes back out, so.
Oh, but even the High Republic, right? These new sabers from the High Republic with cross guards, and you're going to see, you're going to see, I think that Suba coming out of the blade thing, I think I first saw in a High Republic art. Like there's like a little flare out with the blade.
Yeah, her emitter transformed into a Suba, and basically, from what I can see, it initially came out like a normal lightsaber, and then the transformation came at the tip of the hilt, and it turned into a Suba, and the Suba squeezed the beam into a katana. That's kind of the theme. Yeah, beautiful idea. I mean,
well, if you go back and look into Wikipedia, they get into photos of Jedi that look like samurai essentially, and they're all using force imbued steel blades, and they're all carrying katanas. That's really, you look at Visions, they just went right back into their own Wikipedia and found that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, also it's the original. It's just like with the Mandalorian, where they went back to the original inspirational sources, westerns, samurai movies, that kind of thing. Yeah. This is going all the way full circle. So now you've got Japanese animators making things in the Star Wars realm, when Star Wars was very much largely based in Kurosawa movies, all that. I mean, Obi-Wan's whole getup is supposed to be a samurai.
Yeah. And in the most recent movies, they copied a few scenes from Seven Samurai, and I think it's under the recent one. A few of the scenes, you can tell they kind of like they took inspiration from old samurai and old westerns too. And the last movie, the last installment.
Well, right. And westerns and samurai movies are two genres which also constantly trade stuff back and forth, right? Because everybody sits there and goes, "Oh, talk about Kurosawa." Well, Yojimbo was Kurosawa saying, "I want to make a western."
Right.
I want to make a John Ford movie, you know.
Robin Oro.
Yeah. So it's like it's
Toshiro Mifune is like the ultimate hero. You see him put in so many different parts, playing Musashi, Lone Wolf and Cub. He always plays pretty much a Jedi. Really, when you look at how his actions are throughout being honorable and going out and carrying out whatever he's doing as Ronin Samurai.
I don't know if I would make that statement about Toshiro Mifune's characters, because there are many movies where he is not a good character.
Well, yeah, that's true. He's a
very, very bad character.
But if you think about it, though, that very first episode of Visions was trying to capture that. If you think about it, that first episode of Visions was his character, actually, that he's trying to portray a lot, like in Lone Wolf and whatnot. But that first episode was pretty much trying to capture that whole samurai / western feeling.
Yeah. You got that Yojimbo feel, you know, with the guy just kind of like not saying nothing, man with no name,
right?
You know, all that mysterious stranger walks in. With the Visions, I did think they did the gag of, you know, oh, look, it's a bunch of Jedi, and then they ignite their sabers. Oh no, they're Sith. They did that a couple too many times for my taste. It's like, okay, maybe that's just what they liked.
But there's no coordination, right? Everybody worked on their own project. Everybody came up with the same.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're all at the same moment in time here.
Yep.
It's funny that they all said that, and each one, I think, they all said the quote, I have a bad feeling about this. They all had that quote.
Yes. Yep.
I didn't catch that.
Because for me, every piece had its own beauty. I loved each one. But some of them, they weren't Star Wars enough. To me, it seemed like it was just Earth, Japan with lightsabers. Some of them. Some of them didn't look Star Wars enough. There wasn't enough reminder around you. They had characters and they had lightsabers and some clothing, but like the surroundings were feudal Japan Earth, you know. There's no tech, there was no nothing. I can understand the mix they're trying to do, which is fine, but a lot of it just didn't take me to where I think they were trying to put me. I think
well, I think it might,
what they were doing, they're trying to take me there, unless that's the purpose.
Yeah, I think what might have happened in some of those things is that they are mixing it with their own aesthetic, right? With the Japanese aesthetic, whereas we tend to mix it with the Western aesthetic, right? So to them, that might be completely invisible, right? Like they just completely just write it off as just being background. Well, with us, it's like, oh, look at that cool Japanese house, you know.
Kind of like the story of King Arthur.
Arthur
is not, you know, knights. You know, they didn't have like a straight sword. I mean, you know, it's older than that. So when they're sort of older in that time, they told it for the people at that time, which is more familiar to us. No different than how Tony Stark is fighting in our Middle East rather than fighting in Vietnam. When the original story was told, he was in the East, but because of modern days, when they told Tony Stark's origin, it was in the Middle East, which we were more familiar with today. So I can dig what you're saying now. I pull that from you. I'm putting it in my pocket.
Yeah.
I understand.
I almost think it's, you know, like on the first one with the duel, it's almost as if they were reverted back to ancient Japan over time through technology. Didn't change a lot of the traditional ways, but the weaponry was something that was really advanced.
But then
Yeah.
there's also this.
So they were living more traditional samurai feudal ways, but here they are. You've got bounty hunters, you got freaking aliens, and you have lightsabers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And
always this too.
type thing.
All of that Tatooine stuff, right? It looks alien to us. But what if
Mhm.
you're from Tunisia? Does it look that alien to you?
Well, it looks like your backyard. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I
Arizona.
mean,
Or
So-
let's just say Hoth. Let's say you're from Buffalo, just for instance.
right,
Every time
exactly.
you go to Hoth, it
Right.
looks like your backyard. It looks like your drive to work.
Right.
That's my drive to work. It's basically Hoth.
Yes,
Well, I-
exactly.
Jakku. I actually live in Jakku right now. I don't live in Tatooine, but the Rocky Mountains, this is Jakku.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah. You guys get that 120-degree temps. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Or
go back?
I did.
Why
What,
I go back.
what was that? I let one. I mean, I don't know how everybody felt about Last Jedi. I know Todd, because we saw it together. I know you really liked it. I really liked the line. I loved everything with Luke Skywalker from a teacher's perspective, but I liked his one line where he says, she goes, asks Rey where she's from. She says, I'm from nowhere. He goes, nobody's from nowhere. She goes, I'm from Jakku. It's like, okay, that's nowhere.
That's like saying you're from Barstow.
Yeah, right. Like, okay,
I know where that is. I've been to Barstow.
A lot of people don't know where that is.
Oh, it's right next to the National Training Center, the NTC out.
It's
Yeah,
about
I know all about it.
about 4 or 5 hours from me. That's why I
Yeah,
got family.
There. been there on a bus a few times, man. Yeah, I know where it's at.
I think one of
A few movies. Well, maybe Needles. Only people know about Needles is that Snoopy's brother is from there.
Oh, I used to date a girl that lives in Needles. I know what you're talking about.
Needles, an hour from me. Needles is like
How about what is it? Greenville? Greenville is close to that too, right?
yeah, not too far. All
Yeah.
that's like
All right. You were saying, Ben?
Oh, well, I was actually I was thinking about what we were talking about with, the settings for the Star Wars visions. And, I lived in Japan for a while, and so I'm kind of keyed into Japanese culture. And one of the, there are obvious cinema influences here, but one of the other social divisions that seem to come out, and I'd love to get Jared Miracle on to talk with him about this sometime, is that there is urban Japan and countryside Japan, and urban life is really what most people want to live, right? You might romanticize the countryside, but the truth is, saying like Sugoi Naka or something like that in Japanese, that's an insult, right? That something is like way countryside, that's not a good thing, right? Most people ascribe sophisticated, desirable life with urban life. And
It's like ghetto versus country in Detroit.
Exactly, right? And actually, where were all the samurai? They were in Edo most of the time,
Mhm.
right? They were in cities. Only people collecting taxes, only country squire sorts of samurai were out in the countryside. And so one of the things that was interesting to me was, I expect to see a lot of Japanese cultural influence because obviously these are the animators we're turning to. But like all of these stories are set in the middle of nowhere. No one's set one in the new space Tokyo, right?
Right.
And
Well,
that's
the second one
genre of Japanese fiction.
Well, I guess you could call Tatooine
That's the
still
closest
middle of
that
nowhere.
we
But that's
got.
still, there's a lot of
We got
people
the
there.
biggest city in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a starship is in the middle of nowhere too, if you think about it. I mean, like they have one where they're on a
Oh, right,
starship.
yeah.
That's the middle of nowhere.
Right. And so I was thinking about, what are the cultural influences and messaging going on here that, Star Wars is about the exploration of forgotten places, kind of. That, what do fantastic powers and lightsabers get you? They get you the ability to explore those forgotten places, right? And as a martial artist and as a science fiction fan, that kind of resonates with me, right? Because, that's what I use my martial arts and my real metal swords and my fake plasma swords. That's kind of what I'm doing is I'm trying to like capture those unexplored, those, you know, forgotten places. And, you know, Star Wars has always been so good at that.
That is true. I mean, we always go, and I guess that's very much like the stories it's based on, Westerns and all that kind of thing. You're always going to seedy little underbelly places, you know.
Yeah. They always go to the Outer Rim. They always go to the Outer Rim somewhere.
Lots of stuff happening on the Outer Rim. I mean, in the prequels, they go to Coruscant.
Yeah.
But not really. I mean, in buildings, they stay in buildings in Coruscant. There's not a whole lot of street.
Yeah.
In the Clone Wars, there's lots of street Coruscant, which is cool. But
yeah. You see how congested it is, like a real city, actually. It's pretty.
You know, you guys talk about places, you know, I mean, how many times you say you're from a place and automatically somebody assumes you're from the big city of that place? I went in the Army in the late 80s, and I tell people I'm from Michigan. They automatically assumed I was from Detroit, which, granted, Detroit is a huge city, but it's not the whole state.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Maria was mentioning something about squatching and Sasquatch hunting. You guys want to go Sasquatch hunting, man? I got 40 acres up in the middle of Indian River. You want to see some Sasquatch? it's as rural as you're going to get.
Yeah, true.
But again, just, you know, people are like, oh, Jakku, you are from nowhere. That means to me that whole planet is just pretty well just desolate desert with a couple small towns where everybody lives and works out of.
Right.
Or a scavenger living in the middle of nowhere, just trying to pick through trash, broken down, you know, fallen starships, trying to scrap shit for a living.
Well, that's what I think is kind of neat about Jakku and in Force Awakens. And I mean, I appreciate things in Force Awakens and Last Jedi quite a lot. And that's one of them, is that Jakku seems to be like only populated because there was a big space battle and there's all these ships now crashed on the planet. And so all of these junkers come and they're only going to live there as long as that holds out. And when the last piece of scrap leaves, they all.
I never thought about that. I never thought about the purpose of certain societies in the Star Wars universe, but that makes a lot of sense. That makes sense.
It's like Raxus Prime, you know, it's just a junk planet. And the only people that are really occupying Raxus Prime are junkers and Jawa. You know, really, with the Imperial making money off of the scrap that are being brought up from the surface. You know, because if you play that game, you look at that whole landscape, man, it's just junk. It's destroyed chunks of starships, probably pieces of the Death Star laying there, broken down, you know, AT-ATs. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
So what?
Wartime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what planet is okay? The first in the Mandalorian, he starts out on where Grief Cargo is. What planet is that supposed to be? I don't remember.
I do not remember.
And I don't remember if it's the same planet that, like, does he leave the planet for that first adventure where he hits the Mudhorn?
Wait, so you mean the icy planet where the thing is coming up through the ice to, you know, and snags the speeder? Is that the first planet you're thinking of, where his first?
No, I'm talking about the planet that Grief Cargo is on with the guild.
Oh, yeah, no.
When he goes,
I think it's Tatooine. I think it's Tatooine is where he comes back to.
Yeah, I think so. But
no, because the Jawas on that planet are different than the Tatooine Jawas.
They have different color eyes too,
and they have different color robes and stuff like that, and they're called something different. They're called Jawas, but I can't remember what. But anyway, that planet, I don't know if he's supposed to leave that planet or he just kind of goes on the same planet. So I don't know what that is, but we're talking about like that, like Jawas. How do Jawas get anywhere? Right?
Clearly, they steal a spaceship. However, they get there,
I guess, but they
steal it.
But could they resist the urge to just take it apart and sell it for parts?
Well, they've got their big, giant, you know, moving tracked fortress. I mean, where did they get that? They had to build it some way or another, didn't they?
Well, that's my point. They went ahead and built a big, gigantic roving fortress instead of a rocket ship or a ship to like fly faster. You know,
Who's the-
Oh no, they're stowaways. No, they're small, so they can cram themselves up into small.
yeah,
spots.
probably. Yeah, there you go.
So they just stow away, man.
They probably do. They probably do. They are scavengers. They don't like they want to spend much money.
I mean, they could hide in
Yeah,
small.
yeah, exactly. Right, yeah.
You leave your ship sitting there all open and stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for it to get infested with jawas. I mean,
True.
They're like gremlins.
you land somewhere, there's 2 or 3 of them crawling out the back.
And there is graffiti. There's Jawa graffiti in the first episode of season 2 when they're in that seedy little town and they show the graffiti on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude said that they made Jawa graffiti.
Can you imagine like an episode of Mandalorian of him just casually walking through his ship and he opens up a container somewhere and there's a Jawa in there? You know, just
yeah. It sort of happened.
You probably
to
just
him.
shoo them out like, oh, one of you guys again, get out of here.
oh, what are you doing here? You know, and
I don't know. After that second, after his first encounter with him, I don't think he would be that.
No,
Yeah.
you'd be like, turn out your pockets, you little thief.
Well, he was sat there just
Yeah,
Blowing them away.
vaporized.
he was
vaporizing them.
He was vaporized. I forget about that. He was turning them into towels. That's right.
Yeah, just poof.
Right. And Baby Yoda takes a step to the dark side right there. Way into it.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, he was. Yes, very much into it.
Oh, disintegration. That's what he meant by that.
Yes,
he
and Jawas are good. Are a good thing to talk about too with us because I mean, because if you think of all the little alien creatures in Star Wars, each of them like is a piece of a fan, right? We all got a little Jawa in us, right? We got to get our sabers. We got to get our cosplays or our whatever done.
Yeah, buckets.
Right, and just look at our rooms.
Well, I got a thing for buckets now, man, and I kept looking at that Mandalorian bucket you've got there last time I was over, and it's like, yeah, I've got to get one. I know Gary's got one too, man. Those are great.
Yeah, I got
Black series.
my cows.
Yeah, nice.
I got a bunch of helmets. I got my Mandalorian helmet. I got some buckets I haven't painted. I got a Power Ranger helmet. A couple more Batman cowls. Yeah.
Yes, I am almost done with my Mandalorian, and actually, and this will come in directly here. I'm doing a kind of a mashup Mandalorian. Like you see, like the samurai versions of stuff like that. I'm doing a Ming Dynasty Mandalorian.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
Oh, that would be. I see obvious potential there. That should be.
Oh yeah.
This would be that hilt. I mean, it's a black onyx. It's a black blade. So that'll look beautiful. Something like that.
I can't wait to see more of your LED blades where you've got, pixel blades built into them.
Oh yeah. If you have some of those, that'd be sweet. Yeah. Or you don't have any.
More and more. It seems like more and more builds. I mean, to tell you the truth, this one I just finished, I couldn't find a reflector for the life of me around here, and I had to order one. And got lucky enough that I had a local friend that had a reflector for a Tricree. Oh, isn't that cool, man?
This is one that
the Matrix.
Oh yeah. This one I'm trying to find earlier. This is the etching inside here actually V designed, and she did. You can see, and it's I love it. Let me see if I can get some color.
I got something along that theme that I'm about to start here before long. Yeah, very cool. Love it.
Oh, I see some potential for Doctor Strange mashups here too.
Here's that reverse katana. It's in reverse. Blade tip here. Got that hole inside it, and see, put some color in it. So this one here, like I said, these look better in the dark, but yeah, this one here is meant to look like the anime Samurai X. This one is based off of even emitters connected to it.
Oh, cool.
I mean, so you get a saber and then transform your full saber into kind of a katana. So yeah. That's a
Very
little bit like.
Oh, and the ring lights up. Very clever.
So yeah,
that's very clever.
I have Neopixel ones put up. Actually, I have some right here that I'm actually wiring and doing right now.
Yeah, because again, as I was mentioning, more and more, it's rare for me to actually do in-hilt LEDs these days. You know, because usually I ask people when it comes to a katana, if they want a shelf queen that you can pull apart easy and you can see a crystal chambered and maybe light dueling with it, or if they want one they can really beat the heck out of, which means that generally I'll close them up to the point where you can't easily get to the guts of the saber. But in turn, you can still, you know, Neopixel connectors. That's one of the most popular now is the Neopixel blades.
I have one on actually right now. It's not in the hilt, but here's a.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
right on. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very cool.
They get it on Spectrum. Find Spectrum.
I'm Cal Kestis.
Let's see if I get the right font on there. You can see the light. It's going back and forth with fonts. I'm not
I'm Cal Kestis.
well, I won't go through the spectrum, but I can do the color change so you can see the different. It looks better when you see the activity inside the blade rather than just a straight beam. Because the tip, it took a long time to figure out how to do these tips. And I'm disappointed in Disney actually because I've seen their Black Series Dark Saber and it still doesn't have the tip is not lit. And you would think that Walt Disney of all places, they've made a retractable blade that they could have a tip lit up inside their Dark Sabers. And then so I thought the Black Series would come out. And from what I understand, their tips don't light up either. So I'm pretty proud of myself for being able to come up with a fully lit blade.
Yeah, I don't think Disney is making those. I think Hasbro is. So
Even
they're
though you
probably
have
just
to-
using their old tech.
Well, you have to admit the hilt it looks good though. The
Oh
hilt
yeah, definitely.
is
Yeah.
very. I mean, I've been tempted to buy one myself. It looks that good.
But the Galaxy's Edge ones are I mean, if you've ever seen like those are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The ones at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Getting like a cannon. If you just want like a cannon hilt to like put somewhere, those
Yeah,
are,
200 and some bucks. You can't beat that. I mean, that's
no.
it's and you get a cool looking case with it for 200 bucks. You can't beat
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, only thing is that a lot of those guys that's their entryway into the saber community, which is great because they get then they want something else.
That's what I love about it.
Well, yeah, you were talking about the Force Awakens and a lot of people coming on board after that. I mean, a lot of my high end customers that had me build outrageous stuff for them. They started out with a Galaxy's Edge saber, fell in love with it, and then they realized there's a whole hobby that's dedicated to lightsabers. Oh, there you go.
No idea.
Wait, show that again. Show that again.
Yeah, Rainbow Blade.
Oh, yes.
Nice. There you go.
The back edge doesn't light up. We got it so the back edges. So it's only the blade edge that lights up.
It's like a pride saber.
Just more logical. So it's and on this one too as well. I got Hamon on it, and the tip edge is done in a particular way. So the goal is not to just put two pieces together, but to create something that you would love to have and keep. And the Dark Sabers are the same way. The Dark Sabers are black and they're on both sides. I have some right here. There's one. These are jobs that are going out. Like I said, I'm consistently working on Dark Sabers. And I have some that are available.
Now these are for the Kaizen's run, right?
These are for whatever the requester is requesting for. Like this one here I have in my hand is for I believe for a YDD pack store hilt and I have another one over there. It's just a 1.5 inch hilt. So whatever you have, whatever hilt you have, we try to make one for it. So this is our dark.
Yeah, that looks good, man.
Yeah.
So the Dark Sabers are coming out, and the tips are lit up on this too. So the ones you get and the handle lights up too, because some of these guys have
Yeah, they got the vents.
yeah, they have the vents on them, so they want their, you know, so the emitter is on the light, so the lights up inside your hilt, and some do not have anything lit inside. So I got it so the whole, basically the whole blade, from rooter to tutor, lights up.
Yeah.
Wow, you've taken that a long way,
That's amazing.
especially with the advent of Neopixel strips. My God,
Oh, and
can't believe how big that's gotten.
everything that came out that was requested, and not too long after it came out, I had one just about done. And of course, there's stories about sharks copying my stuff and all that stuff. But long story short, what made it difficult was I had to bore out that center by myself with my hand. I was literally with first time I did it, I had a Dremel, and I was doing it with a Dremel. Second time I bought a small hand router to do it, and I thought I can't keep doing this by hand, or it's not going to go nowhere. So the few prototypes I had done, I did by hand, but after that, it was all just, you know, we had the CNC setup, which took a long time too. That's another nightmare. Like we had decided to do it. We bought a laser CNC, and we thought we was buying it from a U.S. company, but we just paid like a few $100s more for a U.S. company to buy it from China for us and send us the China one. So we could have bought it from China for like a few, maybe $1,000 or less. We got it, didn't work right. The tube in the back was all messed up, so we sent it back, and then so we had to wait for that. Then we finally got another CNC, like, you know, a few months later, and then they had a learning curve around that. We had hired somebody to help us run that. That didn't work out, so V had to take her own time out because I had to make jobs, and she had to learn the CNC herself, and so she figured it out. We got some help from a guy that's in town. And so now we're on track with the CNCs. But the thing about it is that the Dark Saber, in the meantime, was set back almost 6 months because from initial time it's supposed to come out. But the benefit of that is, had those Dark Sabers come out on time, to be honest with you, they would not look half as good as they do now. At the time, this is a prototype. Wow, look at the dust on this thing. At the time, this is what I was going to send out. It's flat. It has corners on the edge. You can see the bevel edges. And now the current ones that I make, there's no edge. It's just, I make it so smooth. So the intention is that when the light comes on, the light washes out the black. So when this come on before, you see it, but then there's a shadow. There's a blade edge you can see that kind of takes away from the illusion. And I want there to be a black void in the center. So removing those curves and using a very flat black paint, it gives the illusion of everything being severely dark in the center. And the ones without any etching are ones I like the most. A lot of people like the etching the most, but I like the ones without the etching mainly because it just gets real bright on the edges, and you just see that black void in the center, which makes it look like a black light. So yeah, I mean, from the beginning, my whole thing was illusion, not making a real thing. So I try to make the illusion of a Dark Saber blade.
Have you tried the blackest paint in the world? Have you seen that stuff?
But I want to.
Oh my God. I think that would be
3.0.
Epic.
They have a detail spot around here. I see him drive his truck around here all the time. All his logo, all the black on his truck is of that stuff.
Oh my God.
And it is it has the giant words written along the side of it. It's a bright green truck that says detailer on the side that's done in that stuff. And it has no reflection. It is It looks, you see this bright fluorescent green with this deep black lettering all over this truck. It is gorgeous. And I looked up at it up close. It does, you can't, it's just weird looking up close. It's not fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't have dust on it. It's weird.
Yeah, it does some weird stuff to your eye.
Yeah.
I think that would be, I've always thought like, oh, somebody's got to try that with the Dark Saber, because
I want to paint a whole fabric ninja suit with it, including the face mask, the gauntlets, everything. So even in a semi-dark room, you can't see contours, man. You just disappear. You're like, you're basically a shadow person.
Those out here where I live, there are no street lights allowed. So when you're driving at night, sometimes people just pop out on the side like 3 feet from your car. So like that would be that's probably an invisible suit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean there's
Yeah, I would love to try. I paint is super expensive, and I want to try it and paint everything with it though. I would have to try not to paint stuff that I'm not supposed to paint.
yeah, like you paint something and then all of a sudden it's like, where did I put that? Oh no.
I mean, yeah, I would paint so many things. I mean, Dark Saber would be just the beginning. I would like,
it'd be like in the Warner Brothers cartoons when they have the invisible ink and they paint something and it disappears.
Yeah.
And then they can't find it.
Yeah. Exactly what I would do. I would paint so many things with that stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would want to paint I would paint a 1989 Michael Keaton Batmobile with that stuff.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be nice. Yeah. But yeah, the first have been the main thing that got me started, and now the Neopixel, which is fitting to be the first blade that I make into the new technology, so the new era of sabers, because that was my first blade that I ever made was the Dark Saber. So I have like a few designs of that blade, and that one and the Katana are my signature blades. Veronica says, she says that's the most ordered. That's ones we can't not have on stock. We do plan on probably maybe closing the shop for about a little while, mainly because we need to catch up with certain orders, and we want to build some stock because we're going to put certain blades on the website. If you go on the website now, it's kind of bare because we're trying to build up some inventory, building up a lot of different katanas, a lot of different Dark Saber blades, subas, spearheads, Neopixel spearheads, Neopixel straight swords, more things that are like more common that we get ordered a lot of, and make those some staples, and then make the Ripper blades, the custom blades I make, blades that like this, make things like this to be more much more high end, and with COVID, acrylic has gone up. I mean, like, wow, like it's gone up like ridiculously. So it's like, okay, well, so some prices are gonna have to change for us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have more of the clones and we're designing more blades that are more affordable. And I'm not gonna be spending so much time on taking so much material and making these for everyday blades. These are going to be special now. The everyday blades are going to be more like this, where it's basically this is kind of like a clone in some sense, to where the machine did all the etching. I didn't do anything but do the beveling, and I softened the edges and sanded them and I polished the tips. But I didn't spend the time.
I would enjoy having that one just the way it looks, man. That's a great
exactly what I do, because usually what I do is I spend a lot of time beveling and etching, and I do a lot of like time creating things like the hamon, and it's a lot of work on each blade. So if I have like 10 of these to do as opposed to 10 of these, I can get 20 of these done as opposed to like 5 or 6 of these done. So with the acrylic prices going up, time and money is more precious than it has been before. So my time is more precious than it used to be as far as spending time on making Ripper blades. So we have to make more clones. This is what we call a hybrid, where it's a mixture of me doing my craftsmanship along with the computer, the CNC doing its job. And so I still have to hand bevel these and do certain things for the Subas. So we'll get more done because I had to spend time making more things like the Dark Sabers, and I had to do more time making katanas. And we're going to set those up to where everything's going to be on the website. And if you order something, it'll be because it's a special order and you're going to have to pay for that cost. Because other people may suffer for their jobs basically because you may have made changes, you know what I mean? And we don't want that to happen. Because we do accommodate anybody and everybody. We, like, if you say, oh man, I had a 12-inch stem, I had a 3-inch stem, but it needs to be a 5-inch stem. So I'm like, okay, I got to do what I got to do to make that happen. Or you may say, is it too late? Can I change it to a blue blade or whatever? So we're like, okay, we have to wait another week or two. We'll make another blade for you, make it blue, but it's gonna be set back in the line, because we don't want to step in front of somebody else's work because you now want blue, Right. So that kind of stuff happens a lot. So we're trying to prevent that from happening, and we want to try to make sure that what people order is gonna be on the website live and ready. Hey, beautiful, got a buggy. Yeah,
hangs out here a lot. We call him One-Eyed Jack. Actually, Mojo. Yeah, he's got
cool. Badass though. He's badass.
I am super curious as I'm looking at these katana style blades and thinking about things. How I want to ask both of you, have you had anyone commission a pair of your blades or hilts from the Elder, from the older Sith, not Sith character, the guy with the 2 red, katana sabers? Has anyone, said, I want that pair of dual katanas, from the Elder yet?
No, not here. Gary might have.
I've had a single blade done, the old Sith, with the triangle center inside it, and I've made that blade, but I haven't done anything else. I've done a few ancient ones from photos that look like that can be a Valshin, that could be it could be, anything, but I haven't really done those. That's interesting. I'm surprised I haven't had it done or asked.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dual wielder coming out of Wing Chun, where we use 2 short swords all the time. So as I was watching visions saying, gee, what hilts am I interested in? I'm not a Sith, so I'd have to have them blue or something. But that was a pair that came up and struck me. So I'm kind of surprised that no one's approached you saying, hey, yeah, that's what I need. I need this pair here.
Yeah. The closest I've done, I do have 2 blades I call the Butcher and the Butcher's Wife, that are inspired by Wing Chun blades.
Cool.
They're do I have any made? I have well, here's one. Yeah, here's a butcher. They're just inspired. I have one, basically one has a curve and one doesn't. They're inspired by the Wing Chun ones.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
They're the ish. They're just, a lot of are inspired. Butcher with the sharp end, and then this edge that's smooth is a Butcher's Wife. So basically, one is sharper cornered, one just smooth. Closest thing I have that I use for that would be for like Wing Chun. So because the way the Wing Chun ones are built for a lightsaber, the guard and everything.
Yeah.
It was too short, too thick, so I wanted it to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Thinner.
Yeah.
But I do want to make some of those at least, because a lot of people are showing more interest in Wing Chun for some reason. Actually, I'm seeing a lot more interest in it online. Well, on the algorithm I get on my YouTube and Facebook. So
it's funny. My algorithm is full of lightsabers. Whenever I open up Facebook, you'd think there is nothing on Facebook except lightsabers. It is.
Yeah. Well, I think I get that, and I get the other stuff mostly because like I have to do some research on stuff, or like if people might ask me a question like, "Oh, what is that?" Because it's cool, and how I learn about this culture. I keep getting fresh. I keep getting young because somebody might contact me and say they're cosplayers, right? And they'll say, "Hey, I don't know it. I'll just make up a name. Do you know? Can you make me a Sabarat from Hamanaguchi?" I'd be like, "What is that? What's a Sabarat from Hamanaguchi?" So here I am Googling Sabarat Hamanaguchi, and I find out, oh wow, look at that thing, or what is that show? And then so now I'm going on YouTube checking this out, or they might say something that's older, like somebody who's a sword collector might mention something to me, and I gotta look that up, and I'm like, oh, that's just like this, or that's just like that, and then I'm like, okay, like for instance, one time me and V just went through this actually just recently. She was like, we were looking up what they call a wiggly sword. They call it the flamberge, right?
Yeah.
Flamberge. My first flamberge looked up because I was making fun of the Saber Ford. I mean, Ultra Saber flamberge. I was calling it. They should call it Mjolnir. Because it's so big and so long. It's more like a hammer. It's called Mjolnir. That's flamberge. And I was ignorant at times. I didn't really know what a flamberge was, right? So I looked it up just to see where they got the reference from. And when I saw it, it was mostly a large sword. I didn't see the S one. And then so when we looked up, we found a name for it. But the majority of them were the flamberge, where they had the S on it. We're like, whoa, wait a minute. So what is it? Is it a flamberge, or what is it called? And they have another name for the curved sword because other cultures. So, and there's different designs of it. So I'm like, okay, so some look like a snake. Some taper at the bottom and get tapered. Some are just straight going all the way up. So I learned from all these things. So when my algorithm gets changed up, like depending on what the fat is, like a lot of them now are getting a lot of visions, I'm getting a lot of katanas, I'm getting a lot of algorithms. So and I'm getting a lot of Suicide Squad too, and that's my fault. I mean, Squid
Games.
Squid Games. We get a lot of Squid Games right now too. So yeah, that's kind of my.
Squid Game was fun.
Yeah, and everybody's shocked. I'm like, oh, well, this is. I've seen this before. This is what was that one? Not Squid Games, but it's the one that they stole the plot for. They stole the plot. It was illegal in America until somebody stole the plot and made a movie out of it or a book out of it in the US, and then they made it legal again. Battle Royale.
Well, that's kind of, to be fair, the deadly game show that you're forced to play is a pretty large genre in Asian manga and movies. So it's hard to say where that exactly came from.
Well, from my knowledge, I remember I learned about it years ago, and like, you seen this movie? It's illegal in the US. You can't watch it in the US. It's illegal. I'm like, it's illegal. I'm like, really? What's this?
It wasn't illegal. It was in licensing limbo.
Okay.
There was nobody was allowed to show it here because like somebody had bought it and wasn't releasing it. And I knew a lot of anime guys all the way through high school, and that's what you had to do to get these movies back then, because they weren't sold over here. So like right now, it's a crazy people do not know what a embarrassment of riches we have. Here we are talking about lightsabers with real blade geometries and all of this kind of stuff. Who would have thought we'd be talking about this? Go back and tell your 10-year-old self that that's what you're going to be doing today, right? So there we go.
This is my beginnings here. This is what we got. This is the start of my addiction right here. This is my first lightsaber crack pipe.
Yep. My first was from the first movie. What did they call them? I can't remember. The space sword. It was literally an ever-ready flashlight with a stupid tube stuck to the top of it. Do you have one?
No. We've had some. I've had some. We've actually had some for a while that we gave away at one time when I was doing some Vader birthday.
You mean like one of these?
No. They were plastic. Like the literal, those red and blue.
You mean like one of these?
Sort of, yeah. but
But
they
this
were
is
like,
my this is my first lightsaber from 1977.
yeah, there you go.
Wow.
It still glows in the dark too, man. It's all phosphorescent paint.
Yeah, I've posted pictures of those space sword. Yay. Anyway.
I got this, I think, on my 11th birthday, and we went to go see Return of the Jedi. And we're at the United Artists Theater in Rebel City. And right down the street from the theater, they had a Toys R Us. And my dad took me because I lost my mind because Luke's lightsaber was green. Holy moly, it was green. This is a phenomenon. What's going on here? And I lost it. I fell in love with the color green for about 5 years because of that. And we went to the store and he got me this green lightsaber. And it was probably been one of my prized possessions for many, many, many years. It's been through many moves. It doesn't work anymore. It's broken in many places. It's been seen many battles.
You know, I think as a good ending of the show here, oh, I guess not. No, this is Power of the Force. So I got this.
That's the inflatable one. Oh yeah, the old inflatable job.
No. This is later. It's
like-
hard.
Those
That one
were,
looked like-
Extendable, but it's extendable.
Oh,
those-
okay.
when we saw those were, I used to buy those strictly to take out the boards. And I would make straight up TCSS sabers, and I used those boards and so many sabers I had. And I used to connect the LEDs to the speaker to get a flicker. That's the only way you get a flicker and a flash on Clash back in the day with those.
Well,
Yeah.
lately, I've had kind of an obsession, man, because you look at a lot of the old school flashlights. I mean, this is an old Ever-Ready right here.
Mm.
That looks like the old school sabers they actually had for like the old Star Wars. I have a poster and Vader's like this, and it looks like he has
Yeah.
a flashlight in his hand with a big orange blade.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Looks like
Now,
that.
this
Like
one- this sucker's really ancient. Look at this one.
that's the one. Those feel good when you turn them off and on. I remember the
Old
switch.
old brass model called the Lightmaster.
Nice.
Do you still have a bulb in it? Is a bulb working that thing?
No, this one doesn't work. Some of the other ones do, but this one doesn't. I've been kind of collecting them, looking at them, going, I might do something neat with one of these at some point.
Those are well, actually badass.
All right. Very cool. So we're at the end of our hour here. I don't see any. How do I order Ripper Blades? Good point. Yes. How do they order Ripper Blades?
Well, we have two websites. We have ripperblades.net. We have ripperclones.com. Ripper Clones is what we call the I would say the college budget one, and you also can get what we call cosplay hilts on the clone site. We have Ripperblades darksabers.com, where we have our Neopixel line, and that's where you'll find like pre-orders for like Dark Saber and Katana and whatever Neopixel we may have coming up. And the ripperblades.net is like the flagship site. We can make custom orders there. We have Ripper Blades on Etsy. And you can contact V on our Facebook. You can just leave a message on Facebook. Now, mind you, V, I think she made a post recently. She checks her messages very periodically. So if you want to get a hold of us, just expect it to be a long wait because she's just one person and she has many places to check for messages. And but the fastest way is a website or on Etsy.
All right. Excellent to know. So there you go. Go out and get yourself Ripper Blade. You won't regret it if you can. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon. always a pleasure. It's good to finally have you on the program, Gary.
Thank you for letting me. Finally, to be able to talk to you too. It was nice. It was nice being able to talk to you.
Excellent. Yes, always. And Todd, always good to see you. Ben, we will probably see you guys pretty soon. So from all of us here at Terra Prime, we will leave you here today. So patience, practice, perseverance. Happy sabering.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Everybody.
All right.